Peace be with you. I keep getting asked if music is haram, if music is forbidden. So I wanted to make this video and try to answer that question. It's really not a simple question. So theologically, a lot of people reference the Quran, chapter 31, Surah Luqman, verse 6, where it says, and among men is he who takes frivolous discourse to lead astray from the path of God and take it for mockery. He will have a painful punishment. And these will have a painful punishment. And some scholars say that this means music, but the Arabic word there is hadith, and it's narration. So basically what that says is that there are people who take baseless narrations, baseless hadith, to lead away from God's path and take it and make it for a mockery, and these will have a painful punishment. And we've seen this, I mean, historically, even if you know, I am not the one that believes every hadith I hear, but historically we know that there have been falsified and people do this. So this in no way references music, okay? So the now I don't know what hadith people use to forbid music. Like I said, I don't believe everything I hear, so I'm not going to comment on that. I just don't think that those are valid. Forbidding music is not mentioned anywhere in the Quran, and that's that. So in that sense, it is not haram. However, music is a mirror. We have to kind of consider what we're listening to. Let's say, you know, you listen to depraved music, like for example, like WAP, right? That is depravity. Now, a lot of times we can't recognize it as depravity because we're like that frog that you put in a cold water and then you slowly increase the temperature. The frog doesn't jump out; it just allows itself to be cooked to death. Now, if we would put it in hot water, it would jump out immediately because it recognizes the danger. So, because a lot of us, especially when we're young, we draw our morality, we draw our concept of right or wrong from the environment around us, and because we grow up in a sick environment, we are in that like that frog, you know. So when we hear you know, disgusting music like that, we don't really perceive it as wrong. But that's why, because we can't perceive it as wrong, because we kind of, the temperature got raised up to us. We were raised in that depravity, so we don't see it. Now, let's say if somebody made a song about having sex with animals and was serious about it, or having sex with little children and was serious about it, we would immediately recognize the depravity of it and immediately object and be like, why am I listening to this nastiness? You know, this is disgusting. I'm not going to do this. Well, the songs that are being, you know, written now are just as depraved. You know, the whole WAP, for example, it is depravity. Other things about glorifying drugs, glorifying prostitution, glorifying mistreating women, glorifying mistreating men, even glorifying violence. All of that is just as depraved, but we cannot recognize it because of what I've described earlier. So that music is essentially haram. God didn't forbid it, but it is a mirror of who you are. So if you are into that, if you are listening to that, you have to realize that the only reason why you are not disgusted at that as you would be about music that references having sex with animals, for example, or with little children, is because of the environment you grew up in. So you have to take the Quran. You have to take the Quran as Furqan, which means criteria between right and wrong. God says that God calls the Quran Furqan. So when you listen to music that is described by God as leading to hell, that glorifies actions that are described by God as leading to hell, then you yourself are heading to hell if this is your music of choice. Not because you're listening to it, but because you are diseased with it. You think that this is appropriate, where to God it is disgusting. And you would be disgusted with it, like you would be disgusted about, you know, what the other references I made about animals and children, if you were a true, sincere Muslim, because you would draw your morality from the Quran. So Liking that music is a warning sign that you are not on the right path. You're not seeing things clearly, because the devil has led you astray by changing your environment. And the water is slowly being heated up to boil, and you're not going to jump out because you can't see it. So that's kind of the short, the long answer of, is music haram? And there are plenty of good music that they don't sing about haram things, and it's easily accessible. You just have to search for it. So that's it. If you are a Muslim, this is what you need to know about music. God does not necessarily forbid it, but if you are listening to music glorifying things that God forbade, then that is haram. You should not be doing that, because your heart is diseased. So that's all. Good luck.